So today we're gonna go through the life and unsolved murder case of famous Mexican narco corrido singer Chalino Sanchez Felix. So Chalino was born on August 30th, 1960 in a small ranch called Las Flechas in Sinaloa, Mexico. He was the youngest of 7 children and grew up very poor and had a difficult life. In fact, his sister said that he always dreamed of becoming a singer as a child. So at the age of 15, Chalino's sister was sadly raped at the age of 11 by a local gangster known as El Chapo. No, not the El Chapo that we know today. But 2 years later, after this incident happened, in 1977, when Chalino was only 17, saw this man at a party and walked up to him and shot him directly in the head in revenge for what he had done to his sister. After this incident, Chalino obviously had to flee, so he fled to Tijuana, Mexico, with his gun and a Jesus Malverde saint chain. And for those of you who don't know, Jesus Malverde is a saint of narcos. During this time, when he was in Tijuana, he worked as a coyote, and a coyote is someone who smuggles people into the United States. During this same year, Chalino decided to cross over as well, and he began working in the fields, harvesting vegetables, and he later moved to Los Angeles to live with his aunt in Inglewood, California, where he had multiple jobs washing dishes, selling cars, selling marijuana and cocaine, and he also helped his brother run an immigrant smuggling operation. So in 1984, Chalino married Marisela Vallejos, who he had met through his cousin. Also that same year, his son Adan Chalino Sanchez, who was also a singer, was born. And also on that same year, his brother was murdered on December 5th at 1 a.m. in Santa Rita Hotel in Tijuana, Mexico. This inspired Chalino to compose his first corrido to keep his brother's memory and also to tell how his brother was murdered. Around the same time, Chalino was arrested and he served time in La Mesa prison in Tijuana. Now, while in prison, he began to compose songs for his fellow inmates in exchange for money and favors. And when Chalino was released, he began to earn money through his compositions and would be gifted guns and presents like gold chains and watches and most likely even drugs. A group called Los Cuatro de la Frontera, or the Four of the Border, recommended Chalino to go to a recording studio on Olympic Boulevard in Los Angeles. The studio was called San Angel Records, and originally Los Cuatro de la Frontera were supposed to sing Chalino's songs, but according to Pedro Rivera, who's another famous singer, Chalino became angry because Los Cuatro de la Frontera didn't know how to sing a corrido song, so he took over instead. But there's also resources that say that they canceled and Chalino Sanchez just sang instead. In 1989, Chalino recorded his first cassette of 15 songs. Because Chalino's songs were too crude and too explicit for the radio, he had to hustle selling his tapes out of his own car and car washes, street corners, and swap meets all across Los Angeles. So Chalino's music became very popular and promoters quickly sought him out to book him for their nightclubs. In fact, my mother saw him perform at a nightclub called El Parral, located in Southgate, California. She said the place was full of people, that even the doors had to be locked to prevent any more people from getting in. Follow and like for part 2.